Hello everyone and welcome back to Rise of Empire Reign of Chaos Season 4. It is day 4 of Total War. Today we have Alliance WRE from State 79 declaring on Alliance Varog from State 80. And I managed to get most of the fights today, so that will be a longer video than usual, and that was quite of an interesting fight between the two alliances with some back and forth and a bit of rebounds, so let's dive into that. Alliance WRE from State 79 were the first going on offense, placing the rally point in State 80. So still at this stage I'm a bit unclear on which alliance WRE has declared on State 80, so I'm a bit browsing around trying to see if the path is leading me towards an alliance center. Originally I thought it was Alliance Fit, and it turned out to be Alliance Varog. As you can see here guys, Alliance ROC is starting to camp some tiles, and what's interesting about it is that right behind them there is probably a farm alliance center which is kind of stretching, and to reach Alliance Center 1 of Alliance ROC for Alliance WRE we'll either have to go around this farm alliance center or just decide to hit the 100 buildings and go through. Sorry guys, I had to fast forward it a little bit. I had a meeting that kind of put me away from recording the rest of the progression of Alliance WRE, but as you can see they made it through the Farm Alliance and are getting closer from the Alliance Center now. At the same time, WRE is getting more cautious now, camping the tiles behind them as they are tiling and progressing toward AC1. And you can see as well that Alliance ROC is starting to camp their tiles in front of their Alliance Center to try to slow the progression of Alliance WRE. So I have slowed down the recording a little bit because something interesting is happening right now. So Alliance WRE has 2 tiles left inside the Alliance Center of Alliance ROC. But basically Alliance ROC have managed to camp some tiles pretty much almost around the tiles from Alliance WRE, which doesn't leave them really a lot of options. I mean, hopefully if their tiles, which is currently being camped, is strongly camped by T9 troops, that might be a bit difficult to move them out from these tiles. However, now the only options really WRE have is to hit the other buildings and push through, or try to take eventually the tiles which are on the right. So let's see how this pans out. So the situation is getting a bit more difficult for Alliance WRE now. They don't really have an option to go elsewhere rather than eating the honor buildings which are in front of them. But as you can see, Alliance ROC have been garrisoned these buildings, and despite a couple of troops eating the workshop right in front of the tiles in which WRE is not going down. And at the same time, Alliance ROC is keeping on hitting the tiles which are camped by WRE right now. So it sounds like WRE is in a bit in a difficult position. So WRE just lost the last tile they had in Alliance Center 1 of Alliance ROC, so let's look a little bit where this is taking them back. Well, I think they still have a few tiles not that far away from the Alliance Center, so Alliance WRE could still try to tile their way back again. However, it seems like the situation is about to turn, with Alliance ROC going on offense of Alliance Center 2 of Alliance WRE. So unlike attacking an AC1 when there is a lot of tiles to be taken, it's a slow progression, attacking the other Alliance Center is a bit of a different strategy. We're seeing it here, there is less tiles to be taken or in the way of your offense. So one of the strategies you can adopt is to teleport some castles, to put that in the way, to also place some resource plots. Ideally send some gatherers to the resource plots so they have to be attacked by the attacker to be removed out of the way. And we'll see towards the rest of the video what other techniques which are being used to try to kind of defend an attack. So Alliance ROC has decided to make two paths, which comes with cons and pros. On the con side of things, depending on the evolution of the war, you really have to calculate how many of your participants have stamina left, because of course the more path you're making, the more stamina this is costing you. On the pro side of things, it forced defense of having to focus on multiple sides to kind of stop your progression. And if you eventually get stopped by defense, you still have another place to start from where you can continue your progression towards an alliance center. So now a couple of castles are teleporting in from both the attacking and defending alliances. The second castle that got teleported from ROD here was kind of a good position, because in a way you're kind of like forming that corridor here, where at the moment you're kind of protecting a path between castles. Of course, if the defending alliances is sporting some castle at the very end, then it's kind of blocking the way, which it would be preferable in that case if there is more castles from the attacking alliances kind of continuing to make that corridor to kind of protect your progression. This is just happening now. A defending castle just teleported in, there were some tiles that were nearby, and you can see now he's actually occupying these tiles, which is kind of forming a wall in front of the attacking alliances, which is kind of stopping their progression. To double down on this, defense is now starting to camp these tiles, which is really making it hard for the attackers to progress. And so as you can see now, this is kind of forcing Alliance ROC to go around these tiles, which obviously if you kind of repeat that over and over again, makes basically the offender waste the stamina. And if you manage to successfully do that on a recurring basis, then chances that the attacker runs out of stamina before it reaches your Alliance Center is getting higher. So there is not much things going on that path anymore. ROD is probably thinking about other alternative. Earlier we saw that there were another path that was created, but we can see now that ROD has decided to create even an additional path, which is being tiled as we speak. So where it gets interesting is that you see with that third castle that just got teleported, once again we're kind of seeing the castle being lined up and forming a corridor, which is kind of a way to protect your path when you have all defense, which are teleporting castles to try to get in your way. And as you can see as well now, dragon shouts are starting to be used to try to get these castles out of the path. Second pass is pretty much gone and tiles have been taken back now, but as you are seeing now, one of the defending castle has just been dragon, which is kind of opening the windows for creating a third path. You can see along that path that more defending castles from Stage 79 are teleporting in, resource plots are being put in the middle, and I couldn't resist. I recorded that fight all along, but being from 79, I couldn't resist from teleporting my castle in and blocking the path as well. So effectively the third pass is now being blocked, which is not really leaving a lot of options for Alliance ROD, and after 3 paths being created, you can quickly imagine that the attack of ROD is kind of running out of stamina. So there is not much activity going on anymore, so you can pretty much assume that Alliance ROD has kind of run out of stamina and the offense have successfully been repelled. This brings us toward the end of that video. As you can see, the participation number between the two alliances were pretty much the same. Warrior Elite earned the most points during that war, mostly due to honor buildings being destroyed, whereas for Alliance SWROG there were points only earned from tiling. But overall, great fight from both alliances. I think that was a really enjoyable video to record and to watch. And again, please feel free to give your likes or leave your comments. And if you want to follow more of Season 4 of Reign of Chaos, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. Hasta luego.